Right. Who was your age in school? Who else was about your age here? Harold Pines? Jay? Okay. You see, these are all people that are older than me. I mean, I know who they were, but they're all older. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Sit down there, or?
I'll just stand here.
Okay.
I remember during the holidays, you know, the front, we had no yard or porches or anything in front. And after services, we'd go out the door and everybody would be congregating right there on the sidewalk. And nobody wanted to seem to leave because that's the only time they had to socialize. So finally my husband would say, let's go. Let's go. So we'd start talking again. Because we had 30 miles to go. And so one of I remember Zelda Langard says, well, she doesn't want to go. She doesn't get a chance to socialize. So anyway, that was one thing I remember, that everybody socialized out there because there's no other place to go. And we had a social group of young couples. Once a month we would meet, and whoever was designated to take care of the food, and we would meet down in the basement. And I remember they had those movable sections that Ned was talking about. And I remember in the corner, there was a bust of Moses with the horns. And I asked whatever became of those. I don't know. I asked Leslie if she remembered anything like that. Who knows where it is? But then we used to cover it up. We didn't look at it. And let's see, I remember one time we used to make all kinds of things up to have a good time in that basement. So one time we put a curtain all the way across the basement and had all the men put their feet with their shoes on. No, they took the shoes off, just the socks. And they'd put their feet under there, and they were behind the curtain, and just their feet was showing. We had to figure out who was who. Now you figure out, have you ever looked at your husband's socks to see what he put on? That was the kind of stuff we used to. Because you know, how much can you do in a basement? That's the one thing I do remember. It was really funny because nobody could figure out what their husband's socks were like. So I can't remember.
Who was in that group?
There was, some of them are down in Florida now and scattered. There was the Kaplans that had 3 children. Morgan Stearns had 2. Harry wasn't, or Ned, they were too young. These were the young couples. There was Seltzers. Schusters.
Langers.
Bernsteins.
Langers.
No, Langers didn't have children.
The children were, 2 Bernsteins.
Huh?
Marty Bernstein and Ben Bernstein.
Yeah. Yes, Bernstein. And Anyway, we had a pretty good group, and everybody was active. We'd take part in in what we would do, and it was fun. And people, anybody that came into town was asked to join. Some did, some didn't, and that's the way. Winters or summers, we kept the thing going for a long time. But I can't remember anybody else. Because we had some people that were there for a long time, and the others were kind of transit, you know. So I can't think of anything else except that I was trying to remember how long I went here. I came here after the war, and we joined here because in-laws were here and they had good friends here, and we started going to services here. And then the funny thing was, when he was talking about the poker games, that they used to, what was it, once a month or how often? I don't know how often they met.
Just a story.
But I remember when I was pregnant, the first child, they were sitting at the dining room table, so they played poker, and I don't know how big the stakes were, but my brother-in-law says, okay, ante up for the baby. So he put the pot on the table. All this goes for the baby, my baby. So, and the men did. They put their money in. I had enough money when the baby was born that I bought one of those great big. They called them perambulators. You know, remember those great big things? I bought one of those from that money to use for the baby. Well, I don't know anything else unless you have any questions. I'll try to answer.
Judy, did you want to say a few things? Would you like to say a few things?
I would like to ask my brother Harry Stern. Our maiden name was Stern.
Yeah.
We were the first Jews to buy a home on Country Club Place.
Yes.
And at that time, and I mean, we were right, our home was right on the golf course.
Yes.
Wasn't BCC restricted back then?
Absolutely.
So we couldn't even walk across the golf course to go swimming or to play golf. But that's how it was in the 40s and before then. I'm sure it's not that way now. It's not.
Thank you. Any last questions? Yes, Marty.
Well, actually, I guess I have two that are kind of not pertinent,
You
but
may want to stand up and face out. Come this way. Do you mind?
okay. Why was the singers? Why were they not Jewish?
Why were the singers not Jewish?
Because there were no Jewish people to do the vocalizing.
There was no Jew who could sing.
It was never organized in that manner. Never. They were professional. They were professional. What?
They were professionals.
Oh yeah, they were professional. That was their
That was their...
It was very common,
avocation.
very common, very typical. In many synagogues during that time,
Yes.
to hire professional singers because the goal was to become more sophisticated, like the church in America, and to raise the bar of quality of the services that were being offered. But we can say today, our entire choir are Jew,
that's very proud.
community.
And
Not unusual.
the second thing was, I know with the fire, I mean, it destroyed the Torah, but did any move from here to the new building?
The Torah is up.
Does anybody know the Torah? Did the Torah move from here to the new synagogue? Does Does anybody?
It must have.
I think so.
It must have. I wouldn't leave here.
It was not really,
It wasn't destroyed.
if the wall,
No.
but not
Well,
the
the hallway was not.
Actually, in cleaning the basement at Temple, I came across some covers, horror covers that were donated. It had a Livingston name on it. And we do have those, with the Livingston name on the Torah. Cover.
The eternal life is the one from here. Yeah, the ones that.
If the one that's at our synagogue now was the original?
Yes.
We have the one from Germany. We have the one from Germany.
Yes.
I believe so. I'm almost sure.
There was a Holocaust. We have a Holocaust, so. Yeah.
So, before we say goodbye for the afternoon, I really want to thank Alan and Harry and your sister, Sybil, and of course Ned and Molly for enlightening us. It's really interesting for me, not being part of this community from a little person on, to hear some of the stories. And I'm going to have to go home and look at my husband's socks. So if you don't which we could have a little fun. Anyway, I really want to thank all of you for coming. And certainly to Leslie, without question, opening up your beautiful synagogue for us, to let us have this opportunity to celebrate together. So thank you.
This synagogue is the second oldest synagogue in Illinois.
Yeah, second oldest still standing synagogue in the state of Illinois. First one's in Quincy.
Is in Quincy. Isn't
In
that
Quincy.
interesting? Yeah, you would think it'd be Chicago. The second oldest standing synagogue.
Right here, Bloomington. Okay, well, there are some cookies in the back if you'd like to take a cookie, and thank you again for coming.